Napoleon Bonaparte. The name evokes images of grand battles, sweeping reforms, and an indomitable will to rule. Yet, even the greatest of leaders must face the inevitable. On May 5, 1821, Napoleon Bonaparte, once the Emperor of the French and the master of Europe, passed away in exile on the remote island of Saint Helena. How did the man who reshaped history meet his end? What were his final thoughts, and was his death truly natural, or was there something more sinister at play? In this video, we take a deep dive into Napoleon's last days, the mystery surrounding his death, and the legacy that still echoes through time. The story of Napoleon's death begins with his ultimate downfall. Following his defeat at the Battle of Waterloo in June 1815, the victorious Allied forces sought to ensure he would never threaten Europe again. Instead of imprisoning him in France, they sent him to the distant island of Saint Helena, a barren, windswept rock in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean, far from the political intrigues of Europe. Here, Napoleon lived under strict British surveillance in Longwood House, a damp and poorly maintained residence that contributed to his deteriorating health. Though still defiant, his existence became one of isolation, frustration, and nostalgia. He spent his days dictating memoirs, reflecting on his past glories, and engaging in bitter disputes with his captors. But even the greatest minds cannot outrun time, and soon, illness took its toll on the once mighty emperor. Napoleon had always been robust, enduring grueling military campaigns and fierce battles. Yet, in exile, his health declined sharply. By 1817, he was already suffering from stomach pains, fatigue, and bouts of fever. His personal physician, Dr. Francesco Antamarchi, struggled to diagnose his worsening condition. Some speculated that the constant stress and the poor conditions at Longwood House accelerated his decline. Others believed his illness stemmed from genetic predisposition. His father had died of stomach cancer years earlier. By early 1821, Napoleon's condition had worsened dramatically. He could barely eat, suffered extreme weakness, and spent most of his time bedridden. By May 5, 1821, Napoleon knew his time was near. His friends and staff gathered around him, watching as the man who had once commanded armies across Europe lay powerless against the forces of nature. According to historical records, his final words were haunting yet fitting. "France, the army, head of the army." Even as death approached, Napoleon's mind remained fixated on his empire, his soldiers, and the battlefield, the very elements that had defined his existence. Later that evening, at the age of 51, Napoleon Bonaparte drew his final breath, marking the end of an extraordinary life. Napoleon's official cause of death was recorded as stomach cancer, a diagnosis largely based on the observations of his physician. However, this conclusion did not satisfy everyone. Over time, theories emerged that Napoleon had been slowly poisoned with arsenic, a toxic substance historically linked to assassinations. Scientific analysis of his preserved hair samples revealed unusually high arsenic levels, igniting speculation that his captors, or even someone close to him, had a hand in his demise. Yet, arsenic poisoning alone may not have killed Napoleon. Some experts argue that the presence of arsenic could have resulted from environmental factors or the primitive treatments used in the 19th century. The truth remains uncertain, leaving Napoleon's death shrouded in intrigue and speculation. After his death, Napoleon was initially buried on Saint Helena, far from the land he once ruled. However, his story did not end there. In 1840, nearly 2 decades after his death, France arranged for his remains to be returned home. In a grand and solemn ceremony, Napoleon's body was transported to Paris, where he was laid to rest in Les Invalides, a majestic tomb befitting an emperor. Today, his final resting place remains one of France's most visited historical sites, a tribute to the man who once shaped nations. The death of Napoleon Bonaparte marked the fall of one of history's most influential figures. Yet, even in death, his legacy endures. His military strategies, legal reforms, and leadership style continue to be studied, debated, and admired by scholars, leaders, and history enthusiasts worldwide. Was Napoleon's death a natural end to a life of struggle, or was he the victim of a silent conspiracy? While history may never provide a definitive answer, one truth remains: Napoleon's impact on the world remains immortal. What do you think? Was Napoleon poisoned, or did illness take him? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more historical deep dives.